The royal doors did not just close on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle this summer, according to explosive palace whispers. They were slammed shut forever. And behind those cold stone walls of Balmoral, a brutal power shift is unfolding that insiders say has transformed Prince William from patient future king into the monarchy's ultimate enforcer. What began as a messy family feud has now spiraled into something darker, bigger, and infinitely more dangerous. A complete institutional purge of the Sussexes from royal life, royal protection, and possibly royal history itself. Because while Harry reportedly scrambles in panic to reconnect with his family before it is too late, William has allegedly decided the damage is already done. And the timing? Absolutely chilling.
Duke of Sussex faces criticism, that's the understatement of the century, over his continued leadership role at an African non-profit organisation whose rangers have been accused of rape and torture in the Republic of Congo. What Harry is trying to say, what Team Sussex is trying to say is, this is wrongdoing. The rape, the torture involving Prince Harry's charity, ongoing.
Inside palace circles, the atmosphere surrounding the Sussexes has reportedly shifted from irritation to outright alarm. Sources close to Kensington Palace claim William no longer sees Harry as a misguided younger brother trapped in emotional chaos. No, the future king allegedly now views him as something far more threatening and unstable external liability whose scandals, commercial ventures, and endless public grievances are becoming radioactive to the institution itself. And according to insiders, Catherine stands firmly beside him, fully supportive of what some are calling a silent royal extinction campaign. Balmoral was not just denied as a vacation destination, it became the symbol of a permanent exile, a line in the sand, a message delivered without emotion, without negotiation, and without any visible path back. But what pushed this Cold War into nuclear territory was not just family drama. It was the horrifying scandal now exploding around African parks. The conservation organization Prince Harry spent years publicly attaching his image, reputation, and humanitarian identity to. For years, Harry proudly positioned himself as the modern royal humanitarian, the compassionate global activist, the son of Diana carrying on her moral legacy. African parks became one of the biggest pillars of that image. It was supposed to prove he could thrive outside palace walls as an international force for good. But by 2026, that carefully polished narrative had reportedly collapsed into absolute catastrophe. The allegations emerging from the Republic of Congo are devastating. Human rights organizations and international watchdogs accuse armed eco-guards linked to African parks of terrorizing indigenous Baka communities inside protected territories. Reports describe brutal beatings, violent intimidation, unlawful detentions, and forced displacement of people from ancestral lands, all under the justification of wildlife conservation. And the most explosive part? Critics claim the board leadership, including the same organization Harry remained tied to, failed to act decisively while the accusations spiraled into a global scandal. Suddenly, the prince who spent years lecturing the world about compassion and accountability was being accused online of maintaining a deafening silence while vulnerable people allegedly suffered horrific abuse under an organization carrying his name. That silence became the biggest clue of all. Why, critics demanded, was Harry not flying directly to Africa? Why no emotional statements? Why no visible outrage? Why no emergency humanitarian intervention from the self-described activist prince who built an entire post-royal career around morality and justice? Instead, reports suggested he remained in Montecito while the organization faced mounting scrutiny from advocacy groups like Survival International, who fiercely challenged the credibility of the investigations being conducted. The optics turned disastrous. Every day of silence deepened suspicion. Every absence fueled another wave of backlash. And suddenly, the palace reportedly realized the danger was no longer containable. According to insiders, senior royal figures feared the international public could begin associating Harry's controversies with the crown itself. That was allegedly the moment William decided to move from emotional distance to full-scale institutional quarantine. Quiet meetings reportedly intensified behind palace walls. Financial ties were examined, royal charities reviewed, shared networks mapped out. The objective, according to whispers inside royal circles, became brutally simple: sever every remaining artery connecting the Sussex Empire to the monarchy before the fallout spread any further. Then came Frogmore Cottage. For years, Frogmore remained Harry's symbolic lifeline to Britain. Even after stepping away from royal duties, the property represented unfinished business proof that maybe, someday, reconciliation remained possible. But insiders claim May 2026 changed everything. Under mounting pressure from William, Princess Anne, and senior palace advisors, the Crown allegedly completed the final cleansing of the Sussex footprint from the Windsor estate. Every remaining trace removed, every personal item packed away, every emotional anchor cut loose. And according to sources, Princess Anne played a ferociously important role behind the scenes. Long considered the monarchy's toughest disciplinarian, and reportedly pushed hard against any lingering sentimentality from King Charles. Her argument? The institution could not project weakness while international scandals threatened its credibility, allowing Harry to retain a royal sanctuary while chaos consumed his outside ventures allegedly became viewed as an impossible contradiction. The monarchy, in Anne's eyes, had to choose survival over emotion. The result was devastating. Frogmore was no longer just a house. Its erasure became a public execution of the Sussexes' remaining royal identity. But if the situation inside Britain was cold and clinical, insiders say the atmosphere inside Montecito had become emotionally explosive. Reports claim Harry has been spiraling under the crushing weight of his father's illness, his growing estrangement from the family, and the terrifying realization that time may be running out for reconciliation. Haunted by memories of Princess Diana and the regrets surrounding her final days, Harry allegedly became desperate to bring Archie and Lilibet back to Britain for one final summer connection with King Charles at Balmoral. And that is where everything reportedly detonated. Sources describe Meghan Markle as absolutely refusing the idea of returning to royal territory under William's conditions. To her, according to insiders, Balmoral was not a warm family reunion. It was humiliation, submission, and surrender to the same institution she believes weaponized the media against her for years. Reports claim tensions between the couple exploded into one of the worst confrontations of their marriage before Meghan departed alone for Switzerland. And allegedly, an ultimatum followed: if Harry wanted to chase reconciliation in Britain, he would do it completely alone. The fallout after that explosive confrontation reportedly pushed the Sussex household into complete emotional lockdown. For days, Prince Harry was barely seen publicly, while Meghan Markle quietly continued moving through carefully controlled appearances designed to project calm, confidence, and stability. But behind the polished Montecito image, insiders claim panic was spreading fast. Because at the exact moment Harry's private life appeared to be unraveling, the walls were also closing in around the Sussex brand itself. Sponsors were allegedly growing nervous. Donors were becoming cautious. And the same Hollywood elite circles that once embraced the couple as untouchable global icons were now whispering dangerous questions behind closed doors. Had the Sussex formula finally collapsed under the weight of its own contradictions? The timing could not have been worse. Reports surrounding African parks continued escalating internationally, dragging Harry's name deeper into the controversy with every passing week. Online critics began painting a brutal picture: a prince who condemned institutional cruelty while allegedly remaining silent about accusations tied to an organization connected to his own humanitarian empire. That contradiction became toxic. And according to palace insiders, William understood something Harry did not: perception is everything. Once public trust fractures, rebuilding it becomes almost impossible. That realization reportedly fueled William's cold, calculated strategy of total disengagement. No public arguments, no emotional statements, no messy family interviews, just silence. Ruthless silence. The kind that slowly erases people from relevance. And perhaps the most humiliating detail of all was what allegedly happened next behind palace walls. Sources claim Meghan attempted one final back-channel maneuver through Queen Camilla herself. The Duchess reportedly believed the Queen Consort could act as a soft emotional bridge to King Charles, bypassing William's increasingly iron grip over royal access. It was a desperate gamble built on one assumption: that Charles, weakened by illness and emotional exhaustion, might still be vulnerable to reconciliation through private persuasion. But according to royal whispers, Camilla completely shut the door. No response, no acknowledgement, no sympathy. Nothing. That silence reportedly sent a devastating message through Montecito: the royal firewall was now total. And while Harry allegedly spiraled emotionally over his father's declining health and his growing isolation from Britain, Meghan was reportedly becoming even more determined to protect the life they built in California. Friends close to the couple claim she views the royal family not as a sanctuary, but as a machine that nearly destroyed her psychologically. To Meghan, returning under William's terms would symbolize defeat, but to Harry, every passing month now reportedly feels like sand slipping through his fingers. The tragedy is almost Shakespearean. A prince trapped between bloodline and marriage, between inherited duty and commercial freedom, between the ghost of Diana and the reality of Montecito. Meanwhile, William's position inside the monarchy has reportedly never been stronger. Palace insiders describe a future king operating with icy discipline, focused entirely on institutional survival. And the strategy appears to be working. By quietly isolating Harry financially, physically, and symbolically, William has allegedly transformed the Sussexes from rebellious insiders into distant outsiders. Frogmore Cottage is gone, Balmoral is closed, royal access is restricted. Even Britain itself reportedly now feels psychologically unreachable for Harry, not because of physical barriers, but because the emotional bridge back home may already have burned to ash. What makes this story so disturbing is not the screaming headlines or the glamorous California lifestyle. It is the silence underneath everything. The unanswered calls, the frozen relationships, the family photographs no longer taken, the children growing up oceans away from the dynasty that once defined their father's entire existence. Because while the Sussexes continue presenting polished anniversary photos and carefully curated public appearances, insiders insist the real story unfolding behind closed doors is far darker, colder, and infinitely sadder than the public realizes. And now, as summer approaches and the royal family prepares to gather once again in the secluded Scottish shadows of Balmoral without Harry, the final reality reportedly becomes impossible to ignore. Prince William has made his choice. The monarchy has made its choice. Even Queen Camilla has made hers. The only person who may still be hesitating is Harry himself, a man standing alone between two collapsing worlds, desperately trying to hold on to both while slowly losing everything. And the most chilling part? Palace insiders whisper that the final chapter of this royal exile may already be quietly unfolding behind the scenes, far away from cameras, headlines, and public statements. Because in the House of Windsor, the most devastating punishments are rarely announced out loud. They happen in silence. And according to those watching closely, that silence surrounding Prince Harry has never sounded louder.